Go live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's so nice to have you here with us. This is April Cox, and this is our open Q&A. Ask me anything about self-publishing, a children's book, or any book for that matter. I am happy to provide you with some open Q&A live here. If you would prefer to come and join us for the open Q&A here on Zoom, you can go to aprilcox.com/events, events, and you can come and join us live. So I would love to get started here. Go ahead, Barbara. You said you had a question for me.
Yes. Okay. Since I will be taking your 12-week self-publishing made simple class, which I'm so excited to do, I I noticed where you have like accelerated class, and you already have the different worksheets for week 1 through 12. So is that something that I can go ahead and have that available? Or will you be sending out the different worksheets each week? How does that work?
So you should have received access when you purchased the work group. It should have given you a login to the course, and that course has every single week it has a different module, and it's updated, and each module as we go through it has the associated worksheets or whatever that we're doing there. I also want to show you um, that there's also a workbook that you'll be getting. And so I'll reach out and we'll talk about that during orientation. And I'll make sure that you get the most up-to-date workbook as well as we work through getting ready for the holidays and getting everybody published. And that's the beauty of doing the 90-day work group at this time of year, because we're going to get finished by September, and then we'll be really moving forward with ads and visibility and sales for Christmas.
Okay, and if you would mind sending me that link again, just to make sure that I have that information, so then I can have access to those worksheets.
Yeah, I'm going to go in here and leave a link here in the chat for you. It is aprilcox.com/courses. And so anything that you've purchased from me or have been a part of will, you'll just use your email and password. So if you have any trouble with that access, just let me know and we'll brainstorm or work through it right after this session.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. So I had, yeah, there you go. I had someone by the name of Andrew posted a question for me and said, can you talk about the phases of self-publishing? What's the roadmap? And so I thought that was a great question. And I figured, let me go ahead and share on the screen here, because I do actually have something on my website that walks through the steps of self-publishing. So I'm just going to zoom in on this a little bit. So hopefully it makes it a little easier to read. But that's a beautiful, nice image to screenshot if that's something that you like. But I'm putting together a little, like a free, a freebie that I'll post on my website with all the author resources. But so let's just start and talk about, and for me, it's the 7 steps of publishing your book. And many of my authors are children's book authors, but this works for any genre, right? So at the beginning, step number 1 is really focused around research and planning. You don't want to be jumping right into writing a book until you've vetted that your idea is a good one. You've done a little research around the type of book that you're writing, the genre that you're writing in, maybe taken a look at some of your competitors. What are they doing well? What kinds of things can you learn from what else is on there on the topic that you're writing about? And if you are not sure how you would vet a book for yourself or your idea, then I have a whole video that I walked through exactly how to do this. And I vetted my new idea, which I'll be going along with the rest of my author work group starting on June 17th. I'll be taking that idea and moving it to editing, illustration, and moving it through the process, having that with a goal of having that ready for Christmas. So you will have all the step-by-step process there. The video is called, I think, Idea to Impact, and we walk through that process. So you definitely want to start with researching your idea, vetting it. So that was step number one. Step number two is writing that manuscript. And, many of you are going to start with an outline, run through the writing and revision yourself. I always say, make sure you do a good job of editing yourself before you get your editor involved. But then just make sure that when you're working it through and you work on to number three, which is comprehensive editing. So again, research and planning, write, edit. The editing part, you're going to always start with a developmental editor. You don't want just any editor because there are people that will do proofreading and just a line edit or a copy edit and look for punctuation and things like that. That's not the kind of editor you want to start with. You want to make sure that the individual is working with you to take a look at your story as a whole, make sure that it flows well, that the action moves forward, that it's age appropriate, and that they help you to reduce the amount of words as you're moving through things. So, a compelling character arc, a story arc, each character having its own personality, right? Work with a developmental editor that it has experience in your particular niche. So, next here, after you're finished with editing, you're going to get focused around the art. And that for us children's book authors means illustrations. And during that process, the illustrator will work through the storyboarding first and give you kind of an end-to-end look at their vision for the book. Very rough sketches. That turns into more detailed sketches and then coloring, the actual coloring the final color. Then it goes to the design process, design and formatting. So you're going to have a design team, or some people try to do this themselves. I usually avoid that because my strong suit is not design. So I let the experts do that. But they will take the text that came out of your editing, the beautiful images that came out of your illustrations, and put it together into a final product that looks beautiful, is typeset, has a nice cover design, and is something that you can be proud of. The export at the end of that process is your files that you're going to use to upload and to publish on Amazon and others, and to send to your printer if you're doing offset prints. So that moves you into the prepare and launch, pre-launch and preparations, right? So you're setting up your listing, you're building your launch team, you're running through or getting more heavy with your marketing efforts here. And then in the end, number 7, you're focusing on rocketing to a bestseller, right? Continued marketing, advertising, and then analyzing and adjusting and determining what's working, what's not, and tweaking as needed. So, one of the things that I also want to say, it's hard to represent on a roadmap like this, but every step of the way, each bit, you are incorporating some sort of marketing. At the beginning, you may be talking about just letting people know that you've started to write a book. Let them follow your journey. Maybe start a Facebook page or an Instagram page where you share sneak peeks. Go on your personal social media and tell people, hey, I'm going to I've just opened a new page for my author journey. I'm writing a book and I'm going to share the behind the scenes challenges and sneak peeks. So go follow me over there, right? So that starts right at the beginning. You can help people understand what progress you're making and let them follow along as you move forward, move closer towards actually going live. You're doing things that are more like creating a press kit, researching bloggers or influencers you might want to partner with. You are doing more detailed planning around maybe drafting some social media content, getting a launch team, right? So every step of the way. And that's why in my 12-week author group that's starting up next week, we go through every single module. We have a marketing activity or more. And so that as you work through that 12-week process towards published, you are getting closer and closer and touching on marketing every single step of the way. So, does anybody have any questions or comments on the roadmap? Is it helpful to see it in this kind of a map? I mean, it's not very elegant. I put this together in Canva, I think. Let me see if I have any comments on here on YouTube. All right. Welcome, welcome. All right. So before I transition back to other questions, I do want to let you know that if you are interested in, you need some handholding in getting your book published and you want to get it out for Christmas, I do have a very short time left, just a few more slots open for signing up for this author work group that's coming. And again, it is June 17th. We have slots both at 1 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern. So we've got two different options for when you participate in the live sessions. It is the meetings are Tuesdays and Thursdays, and there's a full presentation with more informational session coming up tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. So that is June 12th. You can come and attend the final informational session and ask any questions that you have. I also have a kind of the registration is going to be closing on Saturday. So there's not too much longer to go before we get started. It's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to kicking off a whole new group. All right. Anybody else have questions before we move on? Okay. Go ahead, Pat.
I have a question about the author illustrator contract.
Okay.
I can use the same author illustrator contract for crayon animation that I
Yes.
used before for the next book.
Yeah, and actually with my pre-vetted, pre-approved illustrators like Prayan, they actually will put together the contract using my contract. And so they followed, that was some of the prerequisites that I require is once they finish the samples and decide, and you decide to move forward with them, then they are creating the estimate for you and they are drafting the contract using my own. And then usually my assistant sends it out for signature. So you don't even have to do very much of that.
So for me, as well as anyone who's new into getting an illustrator like Prayon, who's excellent, it's an excellent illustrator. What I do is contact them and say, I'm ready for you to do another book.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll come back with a price, or they'll send, okay, here's the contract. And that's how it works.
Yeah, so normally I start at the beginning with a couple of different illustrators, two or three, and I request samples. But since you've already worked with Prayan and you know that they're going to do your next book, I would just let them know I've got a new book. Here is the illustration brief, meaning the manuscript with the illustrator notes in it, and they will review that ask you some questions and then come back with an estimate, because that illustration brief that shows how it's paginated, how many pages, how many illustrations, and what you're thinking about the illustrations in your mind, they'll take that and turn it into an estimate, and then the contract comes shortly thereafter.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. I'm so excited to see the next version.
I have another question.
Okay.
This is the way that I send these files. Previously, and some people may use Dropbox. I hear Dropbox is kind of archaic now. I do have Google Drive. Can I send things to Crayon Animation using Google Drive and sharing with them?
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes we have very large files that need to go back and forth. If that's the case, usually they'll send to us or to the designer using WeTransfer, which is made for transferring large files, and it's free to use. So that's another thing. If you find that you're low on space or you need to send a large file, you can also use the WeTransfer program as well.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Awesome. All right. Let me remove the spotlight there. Okay, I do have a couple of other questions that were emailed over to me. So one says, I'm getting ready to join the author work group and have a manuscript done, but it has not been edited. Is that okay? Absolutely, it is, because we start with the editing process and we'll match you with an editor, a pre-vetted editor, so that they can help you work through that. If you're already past that, if you are also considering joining, but you're past that, it's okay. That's fine. You get a little bit of a head start. You can focus more time on some of the marketing activities that you're doing. So you don't need to have an illustrator an edited manuscript final in order to start the work group. Jeremy says, is it okay if I bring my own illustrator? Or do I have to use yours to go through the work group? The answer is you can do either. Most people have trouble finding a good illustrator. So that's why I created this referral list with my pre-vetted folks that I know that you can count on to deliver and to move forward through the process relatively quickly, so that, again, we can get you published in the 12 weeks. Sometimes authors come to me and they already have an illustrator that they want to work with. Couple of caveats and a couple of, I would say, just warnings is that you want to make sure when you're working with an illustrator that you have an agreement already. So as part of my work group, you'll get a contract template. That's the author illustrator agreement that you can utilize. And it does focus on a work for hire contract, which is what I recommend, making sure that you own the artwork at the end of it, because to me, that's very important. And I ran into an issue with my first illustrator as a result of not knowing that that was important. And I had to unravel the contract and rework it. And it was not a good situation. So I would just make sure that you both know and that you agree on what you're doing moving forward. There are some illustrators that will charge a percentage of your royalties, as well as they want an upfront fee. There are some that may think that that's the way to go. And I've been able to meet with a couple of illustrators for my authors and work them into the contract that I recommend, and just bumped up the price to pay a little bit more upfront, so that you are basically purchasing the license to the artwork and they see the benefit of doing that. So usually we're able to help you get that focused and negotiated if you need the help. The other thing with bringing your own illustrator, my illustrators that are part of the referral list, they know that this is a very short process we're doing because we're preparing for Christmas publishing, right? Publishing before Christmas, make sure that you get the benefit of that time of year on your sales. So we want to be able to move forward with beginning to end within 6 weeks. Now, that is not something that all illustrators can do. They may be juggling multiple projects. They may be looking at, or just take a long time to get through the illustrations. Sometimes an author might request a style that's very complex, and that can take much longer than the 6 weeks. So we just try to set expectations, and if you really love a detailed style and you're willing to move forward with that, that's perfectly fine, knowing that, hey, I know I'm not going to make this the 12 weeks. It's going to take me a little longer because of the style of illustrations. So as long as we set expectations and you feel comfortable, then I think that's fine. But I always recommend, if you are a new author, don't work with a new illustrator, because two newbies going into this requires a lot of coaching and a lot of handholding, and you want to avoid mistakes wherever you can. So if you have a seasoned illustrator, that makes me feel more comfortable. If you do have a junior person or someone who is, draws well but has never done a children's book, just be careful and maybe get that person involved early with some coaching so that we can make sure that the individual knows exactly what's expected and when. Okay, so it's a little bit more focused around managing that project, and that can be a little touchy if the person is new. So Andrew says, are you doing anything with marketing? Do you help with marketing? So there's a lot that I can do with marketing, and through this course, we have marketing peppered in every week. But if you're talking about, can I do something personally with marketing, then I do put custom packages together for folks, and we have lots of opportunities and options. For example, I do have a great email list, and I can help promote my authors that I work with. I also do post on social media and help with Amazon, creating the Amazon ads, helping you to get listed. Oops, I'm all blurry. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. Helping you to get your Amazon listed and make sure your metadata and everything is working well so that you can get discovered. There's also an opportunity to use some of the AI tools that I've put together to identify podcasters and put together emails and help you identify the types of content that you want to create. And if you decide you want us to go ahead and do that for you, then we just need to understand the scope of that. So there's no one size fits all, if you ask me. So I would say, let's get together, set up a consult with me, and we'll determine what works best for you. And you can do that through aprilcox.com/consult. Oh, this is still blurry. Is this happening on your end, guys, too? Or do I look fine? It's a little bit blurry to me. All right. So looks like it's now focused. Welcome. Hi, Victoria. Nice to see
Hello.
you.
Nice
All
to
right.
see you.
So I had one individual here saying, I saw you on a podcast talking about Amazon ads. That's right. I met with Evan Gao yesterday, and I walked through some Amazon ad stuff. And so Jenny is asking, are you doing any kind of additional training soon on Amazon ads? So there is already some great training out there from others on Amazon ads if you're looking for something really soon or quick. Dave Chesson does a great job with his Amazon ads course. I think it's $50. It's not very expensive, and it's quite comprehensive. Brian Cohen also does an Amazon ads challenge that is a great way to get familiar with Amazon ads terms. And you create a lot of ads, so it's a lot of hands-on practice. And then I am going to be doing Amazon ads course. It's going to be hands-on, and we're doing a 12-week course. Last time I did it for 8 weeks, and I felt like it wasn't long enough. So it's going to be 12 weeks. We get together once a week. There's training, but there's also hands-on where we walk through some things together. We share screens. So it's a working session. And I'm thinking that we're going to start that mid-July so that the 12 weeks takes us all the way up to prior to the Christmas season. And so that the goal would be to get your ads really cranking and working well prior to the holiday sales. So that will be coming up. I don't currently have it out there yet to be advertised, but it'll show up within the next week or so. I've been really focused on trying to get my Amazon my author work group ready because that's starting up next week. So I don't know what is wrong with this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm fading with this camera. I think I'm going to need to rework the settings or something.
Yeah, it is a little blurry.
It does. It
Yeah,
goes in and
yeah.
out for some
Yeah, you were
reason.
clear a moment ago.
Yeah, I'm going to
You're
just.
clear now.
Yeah, it's really weird. Maybe it's just I'm leaning too close to it. I don't know. If it keeps happening, I will move over and just use a different camera. Okay, so let me just quickly take a look on here on YouTube. If you have a question, you can go ahead and feel free to post your questions. And for those of you that are with me now, do you have any question or issue that I can help you with? Okay. Donna says, can you go over the differences, the different types of editors and what the difference is in those? Oh, absolutely. So we talked at first about a developmental editor, which is the individual that you would start with. So a developmental editor looks for things like your story structure. Does it flow well? Does it move forward well? How well um, did you expand on the characters, and does the flow of the story move, does it have a good story arc? All right, I'm going to switch on this other video settings. Let me just do, it's a FaceTime camera. Well, I guess it's better than blurry, but it's not the greatest as it comes to quality. But there, at least I won't get blurry. All right, so the developmental editor is the number one place to start with. There is then a line and copy editing, which goes from moving to your, um, you know, does the individual chapters or paragraphs move along, and making sure that the focus on the grammar and the punctuation and the spelling and all of that works. And then as you move forward to towards the end of the project where you've got everything laid out, I also recommend that you go back and you get your editor to do a final proofread. And some people recommend, or they try to get a different person to do that than the individual that they worked with on the previous steps of the editing process. So those are all great places, great stops along the way for different types of editing. I also work with my editor on my author bio, my book blurb, the Amazon listing. When I type up the description and everything, I shoot that over to her. And also a different type of marketing content like a one sheet or my press kit, for example. I will also send those over to have a fresh set of eyes and a different editor hat on to be able to let me know if there's something that needs tweaking. Okay. All right. So does anyone that's here with me have any news or things you want to share about what's going on in your world with your publishing? How are things going? Are you running into any challenges that you want to talk through? or just tell me
I can
something
share
good.
something that I have to go and get it. So let me go on with other
Okay,
people and I'll be right back.
great. Yeah, feel free to share some good news as well. I've got quite a few books that my authors have been publishing, so I will try to pull up some of those while while we're chatting as well. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, for me, it's more my getting ready for this fourth book. It's more challenging for me that the technology. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to put everything into Drive, Google Drive,
Mm-hmm.
and try to maybe make a file of just photos and things to send to the illustrator. So for
Right,
me, it's just trying to master that so that I can send as much as I can to an illustrator because he's not from this country, and the
mhm,
topic that I'm writing about may be something that is, foreign to him. So
right.
I want to send him as much as I can in the way of old photos from that time period. So that's what I'm working on now is putting together what I need to send to him. The manuscript is done. And so
Right.
that's something that,
I love that too because by offering the um, reference images, and by looking up, for example, if you've got a child in your book, then showing some reference images
Mhm,
for what the child might be dressed like, or if it's based on a real person, you might send a
mhm,
picture. So all of those are really important in helping the illustrator get the vision that you're looking for.
mhm. So that's where I am right now in my, I guess you'd call it struggles. I'm having fun doing it, but it is something that uh, like all your new writers, authors are going to have to do is to, and I'm trying to get together a storyboard,
Hmm.
make a dummy. I wish I could find a template. Maybe I'll create something on Canva and download it. It's like
Hmm.
a template that looks like a storyboard that I
I,
can.
I do believe, Pat, that I have one. I think I've purchased one off of Etsy.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I will look for that and see if I can find it and share it with you.
Well, I'll also go to Etsy and see if I see it.
Hmm.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Etsy is a great place to get things, marketing materials, things that you would use. And for me, it's like mock-ups and A+ templates and all kinds of things. So, but as part of my mastermind group and these upcoming work groups that you've participated in prior, I've got a lot of those templates already. It's just a matter of help me kind of pointing you in the right place for that.
Okay,
So I can help for sure.
thank you.
Okay, good, good. All right, so let's bring Victoria forward. Go ahead, Victoria.
Unmute. Yes. Okay, I'm unmuted. All right. Okay, so was listening to this other group that I belong to, and this lady was saying how she had gone to the Bay Area Festival. It's in Berkeley, California, and I had been there and said I would never go back again. And so, but she did say that what her friend, she had a co-table, and her friend made these like popsicle stick puppets. And she said all she did is she went and got the die cuts of
Hmm.
to be similar to her character. And then she would give these out to people. And so the idea, I thought, oh, I can do that. So, I went out and got the die cuts for the penguin. And then I got the die cuts for the turtle. And then I got the die cuts for the can't really see it here. It's the parrot. And so what I did was I made a bunch just for fun to see. One of them is I wrote Tuxedo Baby. The other one's typed, but on the back I have my name, the information, and my website and my email, etc. And
That's
then I did
great.
Swimmy. They came in colors, and I had to write Swimmy on it, and I drew the eyes. So that was kind of simple.
I
And
love
then
it.
and then the parrots I really loved because those came out just beautifully. I mean, they were very nice. And again, on each one of them, on the back, I would put all my information. So my thing, I just thought this is great. I don't know now should I give them that when they purchase a book, or should I give them one as they walk by? I mean, so I don't know. That's where I'm kind of lost at. So right now I have about, I think, 130 to make. And I have, events coming up in November, which is far
Right,
away.
right.
But anyway, so I love the idea though. I thought these were just so
That's
adorable.
awesome.
And
I've
yeah,
seen some people that do author visits, or they're presenting at places like, some sort of a craft fair or something, where they
mhm.
will set up a table and let the kids, color and then put it on the popsicle stick or whatever, and then they make them themselves and the author signs it or something, which is really cool. But depending on I think it is helpful to have something to give away with a purchase. I usually do something that, costs me around $1 or so. And it's not bad, but it's great to also give kids something and come over, whether it's for a sticker or a tattoo, a little something where they can come to the table and they're going to look around and figure out what they want or what they're getting. Gives you an opportunity to talk to the parents and let them know what it is that you're selling. So I think that is really helpful.
I've done the bookmarks before, and of course stickers when I go to schools, but
Mhm.
I just thought this was different, just kind of different. If you the swimmy book and swimmies, and it's the kids can kind
Yeah.
of play and have fun with it. So
Yeah, I love that
and
idea. And it's not too expensive, right? Where did you say you bought
okay.
those?
So I did go to Etsy, except with Etsy, then it was the shipping and charging. I thought, oh gosh, so then I went back to Amazon and wanted to see what they had so I
Hmm.
could get free shipping. And I did. This is what I found. The only problem with this one, everything is kind of it's a nice you can hear it, it's very nice. This is like construction paper. This one I
Uh-huh.
don't care for as much, but it's still cute to take.
Yeah.
And so I got it. I got them. I think the birds were like a discounted. They were like $5.99. The
Hmm.
turtles, they were like maybe seven. One was $6.99. But the idea was that there was no shipping and handling, so that really
Hmm.
saved. And then I had ordered these, which are the 6-inch. That's a bit thicker, and they were $4.99 for 100. So
Nice.
you piece it out. So I just wanted to share that because I thought, I'm always thinking of something different rather than
Yeah.
just the bookmark or a sticker. And this,
Hmm.
so anyway. So,
That's
okay, thanks for letting
great.
me share.
Yeah, I'm gonna just see if I can roll back here 1 minute too. Let's see. Have a couple of other things too that I've been using, like postcards, and they have those plastic just stands where you can actually put your pricing in there, and if you have QR codes you can print those out for the different, like Venmo and PayPal or whatever, and people can actually scan and pay you so that they can leave with whatever they're looking for. So there's lots of great tips and ideas for things like that as well. And that's an awesome, I love that. I love that idea.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Pat.
Where did she say that, Victoria, where did you get those oversized popsicle sticks?
Amazon.
Oh,
Amazon. I just went Amazon, and then it just said there are 6 inches by 3/4. And yeah, so
they'd
Amazon. Everything was on Amazon.
Beautiful.
be awfully expensive just, I think, just a giveaway for people passing by. I don't know. They're the cutest things, and
Thank you.
maybe
So, like
someone,
maybe if they buy a book, or I don't know, maybe I'll display a few and I'll say, yes, this goes with the book, you
yeah.
know, try to do it that way. Or,
Or,
I
you
might say,
know,
take one.
or else, Victoria, say for example, like if someone isn't just ready to buy the book, you could give them that and say,
All the
well, you might not
information.
be ready, but why don't you
Hmm.
take this? All the information's on the back. I'm sure you'd love the book.
That's a great
I,
idea. Yeah.
I'll do that when I go to craft fairs. What I put in the bag of the book that they bought, a sticker, a bookmark, and sometimes postcard, the idea that Bobby Hinman gave, where you put the information on the front and a little coloring page on the back. And then when I put everything in a bag, I put it in a plastic see-through bag so
Mm-hmm.
that when people are walking around a craft fair or a book fair, they'll see your book. If it's in a plastic bag that's colored like purple or blue, they're not going to see the book. And that way you can actually see your book walking around in a craft fair. So that's just a suggestion too
Mm-hmm.
Idea.
for,
Yeah.
for marketing.
Thank you.
Great idea. Okay, so I'm going to show you, Pat, what I came up with on Canva one of the templates that I got. So this was an 8.5 by 8.5 template for a children's book. And it, kind of has markups there already, but it shows you the layout. So here, if I do it this way, you can see that it starts with the title page, goes to the copyright, the dedication. Maybe I shouldn't do it that way. Let me go in closer. So we've got this is the copyright, then the dedication, and you can put in what you have, like for a book dummy, you can put whatever you want. But here's, page 4, page left intentionally blank, or you can place an illustration here. 5, so it just allows you to put some images in, and it's got some text, but it's actually formatted in a way that you could export and upload to Amazon. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I bought a bunch of different size templates like this so that I could share. So you can see as you get towards here, now that it showed you what it was, you can just drag and drop in the image. Of course, it's not going to be nearly as good as if you had a designer doing it. But for people who want to play around and be able to show things and add stuff to it, it's not a bad idea, not a bad thing. And I bought some templates here. Here's 8.5 by 8.5. This is the cover template. So I can share these with you. But it's all set and ready to just add. So this is the KDP cover template for 38 pages on premium white paper. If you are changing your page count, you'll need a new template. So, but it gives you, and then it shows you how you would place the image on top of that. And again, this can be exported and used in Canva. In KDP. So I thought that was interesting, and that it could, for people who wanted to try to do a few things themselves, or even if it's a coloring book or something, then we could have some of these different options as well. So I'm happy to share that with you if you're interested. I know that there are more stuff. I buy a lot of templates from there, but I'm going to be uploading these new ones that I got into the template and the resource library. So you'll have those things to be able to access there as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And while you can always create, do your own layout. Oh, sorry, Pat. I tried to remove you from Spotlight instead of removing your video. I do that all the time.
That's
All right.
okay.
There you go. So yeah, I don't recommend people do their own layouts for books and things like that. If you're a first-time author, let the professionals do the design and the layout. But it is kind of nice, like when we talk about putting together a book dummy, which is really about giving something to kids to look at, or your illustrator to follow along and putting your words there, giving you something you can print and see how the page turns come together. That is really cool to be able to do something like that. Recently, I thought this was really cool. I'll show you one other thing that I was doing, just playing around with recently. And this is through, believe it or not, I had an author that came to me and said, I've got some, it's kind of like poetry. It's a little spell kind of book with some instructions on how to do it. And so I ended up using ChatGPT to come up with more rhyming instead of just like talking about the spell, actually creating a little rhyme. And I asked to create these borders and pulled that together. And then I started like laying them out and I sent it back to her and said, "What do you think?" I hadn't thought of this kind of background and stuff, but you could easily use something. My goodness, these allergies are killing me. So anyway, play around with what you can do generating samples and little bits and things using the AI because it's really come a long way. And having turning it into an illustration is not as hard as you might think. Now, I just wanted to also show some of the some of my author books that are launching. This is called A Giant Thank You. And this is Mary George. Cute little book about just having fun and being grateful and enjoying time together. So, very cool children's book that's just launched. It's only got a couple reviews. So, if you're interested in checking out something new, this is a great one to take a look at. See if we've got any A+ content here. Huh. Okay, none yet. So that's still being worked on. And then we have A Fun Day with Misa that just launched today. We have the ebook that I think I just clicked publish on, but the hardcover and paperback are here, and the ebook should be linked up shortly. So it's a cute little doggy book about just an adventure with and looking for, again, gratitude, right? The little doggy was upset that mama was going to work and she ended up getting dropped off with a grandparent and had a great time. So it's got that grandparent bonding, and it talks about being grateful in with the circumstances that you have, and that things can actually be things that you think aren't going to be very good can actually turn out to be some of the best times that you had imagined. So again, Fun Day with Misa, and that's by Mariah Saldua. It is a bilingual book, which is really cool because it has English and Spanish. So for those that are looking to get some exposure, or somebody that has English as a second language, or vice versa, this is going to be a great opportunity because it has both text, and it was edited and translated by Natalia Sepulveda. Yes, Sepulveda, and she is one of the fantastic editors and Spanish translators that we've been working with. So great opportunity to check that out and help. Let's get some reviews for her. I also have Denise Abdale, who published 2 books in around the same time period. So we'll start with looking at Pickles and Rufus, A Tale of Trust and Love. This is a cute little picture book about adoption, or stray cats, feral cats growing up in a neighborhood, and learning to trust and learning to accept a new home. And so that it's really sweet story. This is illustrated by Prayan Animation, and it's beautifully done. I can also go and pull up her other book, which she worked on with someone else, but I think it's worth pulling up. And let's see, where is her books? I'm not seeing it here. Jacob Gets Organized. Oh, here it is. Jasmine's Magic Hearing Machines. That's her second book. So again, it's about a child with a cochlear implant. I don't know the story in depth because I wasn't involved in it. But again, quite ambitious to be doing 2 books at the same time. So great job, Denise. And let's support Denise in her growth as an author as well. So more to come. I know there's actually a lot more books out there. I'm going to do one more. Dana Green. Let's see if I can find hers. Here's my buddy. So we published 5 books within a matter of a few days. She had it all written and did a lot of the design and editing herself. She just needed to get these up on Amazon. So we've got this Bruno the Traveling Dog series, and it has a number of books in the series. So great opportunity to, you can see the different books. So he goes to different places in the US, landmarks, then there's birds and other things, feathered friends, national parks, and I think animals. So really cool little thing here. And she also has a couple of other books that talk about goal setting for kids and things like that. So she is just going out full force in getting her books out there and building her author brand. Congratulations, Dana. So proud of you for all of the hard work you've put into this, and looking forward to seeing where your series goes. Okay. That's all I have. I need to do more preparation when it comes to these open Q&As, but let me just check really quick and see if there's any more. Okay, so I have Crispstill Crew says, do you need to put the age group of children on a book cover? For example, if your stories are for older kids like 8 to 12 years old. I think there's a couple of things I would say. If you think that your age group is a little higher than maybe the average picture book reader, then I would say yes, put it on there so that people understand. You can also put it in the subtitle so that it will show up on Amazon with the age group as well. But the other thing to look at is the cover of a picture book, and the shape of a picture book looks very different than typically what an 8 to 12-year-old would be reading. So mostly those are books that are chapter books, and they're just a slightly different look and feel. One of the common mistakes that's made is having something for an older child that looks as if it was a picture book, or vice versa. So you want to make sure that you don't confuse. Like Donald Miller always says, that if you confuse, you lose. So people see something, they get confused. Is this the right age group? Is my 8-year-old or 11-year-old going to like it? Then they're more apt to freeze and not purchase. So we don't want to confuse. We want to help them understand the age group and why it's important. So make sure that your listing explains the value of your book and also how it would be used for that age group. Thanks for the question. Awesome. All right. Any final questions, parting words you want for those of you that are live with me? Okay. All right. So last time, please take a look if you are interested in working on or with my author group. We are starting on June 17th. That is Tuesday of next week. So very few slots left, but they're still there. So if you want to take a look and see where you need to go or how to find out more about the work group, I'm going to post selfpubmadesimple.com, and you'll see a little pop-up as you try to work your way through things that'll guide you to where you can find out more about the author work group. All right, well, come back again, and thank you for joining me today. This has been April Cox, trying to help you publish your book and make self